Hi friends, I'm going to do a completed pages video. I can't find everything, but I'll do my best in what I have. I'll go from my most recent finished picture, which was in Hannah Lim's A Whimsy Girl's Christmas. And this is the completed page that I started on one of my live streams. She has all different mixed pencils. She has a pen, she has paint pen, she's got stickles, she's got Wink of Stella. So she's practically got everything. I used everything. She's got a stencil in the snowflakes, and yeah, I pretty much just used anything at hand at that point. So while I'm on the subject of Hannah Lynn, I also have her first book here, which is Mermaidss Fairies and Other Girls of Whimsy. And I've only done one in here, which was Willow. And you've probably seen this floating around. And, sorry, the light is quite bright, so it makes her look a bit bright. But I used polychromos on this, and I really enjoyed this one. And I think I used a Posca pen as well. But this was like 2.5 years ago, so it's a long time now. And then from the only other book that I have done anything in of Hannah Lynn's, I've got a few of hers now, but I haven't done a huge amount, and I hope to get round to more. Oh, I've done 2 in here. I did a monochrome video, I'll start again. I did a monochrome picture, so I just wanted grayscale and 1 part colour, so I did that one. And then I also finished another one in here, which I have to find, and that was this girl at the back. Again, I used polychromos, as I usually do on a lot of my pictures, and I think I used Posca pen for her eyes, and that was it. It's just all mostly done in pencils, so that was another one. Then we move on to one that I've done recently as well, from Jasmine, Beckor, Griffith's Halloween. I did this one. This is recent. This is the Dance Macabre Tribal Fusion. I loved doing this. I used a lot of different pencils. I like to mix my mediums now. And I used a liquid chrome pen for the jewels so that they shine. I used stickles down here. I used a black Posca paint pen, and I used many different pencils for the actual picture. And I really enjoyed doing her. She was one of my favourites to do. Then a few years ago, I think last year or the year before, I can't remember when, I did the Pumpkin King's Night Out. I totally messed up his jacket, so I had to do that in pen in the end. But, you know, and I never used to do skin very well, but I wanted her very pale because she's meant to be like a Dracula, dragony, God knows what. So, because she was vampy and she was Dracula type, I wanted her quite washed out. But I enjoyed doing this one. This was a good one to do. That's from that. Then we go on to Zemljula Snova by Tomislav Tomic, and I have only done one completed one in this. So this is one I did fairly recently. I wasn't happy with a lot of aspects of this picture, and I haven't done a background because of it, because I didn't know what I was doing. But all the same, it was a learning curve. It was so intricate, it was so detailed, it took me a long time, but I'm glad that I went back to it. And then I've started this one, and I will get round to doing it at some point, so that is a work in progress. Then we move on to one. I can't find my other completed one, but this is from Jowie Lim's Friends of Nature. I use Posca, I use stencil to make the like effect down her body. I use polychromos, Prismacolors, Black Widows I think, or was it WH Smith? WH Smith pencils. I used another Posca paint pen, and I really enjoyed doing her. She was a lot of fun. And then we move on to Sagor Ox Sagna by Emily Lydell Oberg. I have one that I'm still working on in this, but I've got a couple done. So I finished my merman and I based it on, you know, the guy from The Little Mermaid, the dad, Triton, King Triton. I based that on him. As I said, I'm still working on this one. I will get round to it within the next week or so. It will definitely be done over this festive period. I've done this one from here too, which again, I wasn't that happy with this one, but I enjoyed doing it. I just didn't like the end result because a lot went wrong and I had to rub out this one a few times. This one went, you know, it was just, yeah, it didn't go how I wanted it to, put it that way. But I enjoyed it. And I think that's all I've done in this one. Yep. Okay, then we move on to the only one that I've done in the new release by Clara Markova, Tenderful Enchantments. And I have only done the first one, which you've seen me do on my channel because I've been doing it recently. I loved doing this one. I loved it. I did this as a buddy colour on a colouring group on Facebook, Reading with Pugs. And I loved it. I enjoyed every moment of this. I used various medium. The berries has got like a wink of Stella gloss on it. You've got chrome on the lock and on the screws, pastel. You've got different medium. You've got ink tints for the grass. I used nearly every pencil medium that I could find and I loved it. Then we move on to Summer Nap. Again, I've only done one in this. I'm a very slow colourist, so I don't do masses. Where people might do about 5 or 6, I've done one. So, but I enjoy it. It's at my own pace. It's my own leisure. So, I did the sunflowers because sunflowers represent happiness to me. So, I went for that one. And again, I use mostly pencils and black Posca pen in with the butterflies, and then a chalk pastel background that I just did, just to very subtle in the background so that I could just bring it out a little bit off the page. Then we move on to the amazing Bennett Klein, and this was one of my first ever ones I've done out of his books. And I did the Octopus Lady, and I wanted to do it like ink going all over the place, like smudged ink. So I enjoyed doing that one. It was my first experience of grayscale. I wasn't sure how I'd like doing it, but I enjoyed it. So I would definitely do more of Bennett Klein because I've got quite a few of his books now. Then we've got the Ticket to Dreams by Karolina Kubikowska. I don't know how you pronounce that. I've only done one out of this book. And that was the one that represents me the most. And that's Living in a Book Bubble, because I love books. I love reading. I love everything about books. So I did that one and I really did enjoy that. And that was just with different pencils and chalk pastels. That was a very quick one to do as well. Then we move on to Mythomorphia. And my first completed one out of this was the Chinese Dragon double page, and it took me nearly a month on and off, and I loved this picture. I loved doing this picture. I love this picture in general, so for me it was an absolute joy. So that is the Chinese Dragon. And then I finished most recently this was, I think, the end of November I finished this. My Kirin, which I use Neo Colours. Excuse me, I haven't got a drink. Sorry. I used, what was I saying? Yeah, I used Neo Colours for the background. I used a mixture of Prismacolor, Posca for the highlights, polychromos. Oh, just every different medium that I wanted to. That's what I've learned. I used to just stick to one pencil brand when I first started colouring, and it never turned out how in my head I wanted it to. And now I tend to go for any pencil medium that I want to, and I mix everything in, and I prefer doing that and I enjoy it a lot more. So I really enjoyed this one. It took me a long time, but I did enjoy it. So I am very excited at some point to go on to the other double page spreads in this. So it is one of my favourite books, Mythomorphia. Then I am moving on to Fantasia by Nicholas, just say Nick Filbert because I can't pronounce his second name. And I did this lady here, and I thoroughly enjoyed her. I didn't do any tutorials on this, I just did this from my head, what I wanted, the colour scheme that I wanted, and I enjoyed doing that one. These are more recent pictures, you can tell which ones are my earlier ones, because I've learned a lot now through skin and shading and just practice. And I have started another one in this, which again I will get round to doing, which was the night. I just started, I want to finish that one, so that is a work in progress. And then we have Magical Delights, It Converts To by Klara Markova. Again, a stunning book. I need to do more in, but it's just too many books, not enough time. And I loved this one. This was my favourite image in the book. I did this around this time last year and I loved every second of this one. I loved creating like a wooden effect. I loved mixing the colours to find out which worked. I loved everything in the picture to colour. I thought it was just such a fun picture. So that's that one. I haven't undone any more in this, but I will get round to it. It's just time. It's time. Then we've got my most favourite colouring book in the entire world, Dag Drummer by Hannah Carlson. You've probably seen this in my Hannah Carlson video that I have done, but I have done a few in here, but these were very early works. This was The Crown. This is one that I still need to layer and finish and work on. This was a double page spread of the Red Sea. I didn't like the background. I was looking for a stormy, atmospheric background and I didn't quite pull it off, but I loved doing the sea. The sea took me hours though. And then we have, sorry I didn't mark these out. This was my first ever skin picture and I've got a second copy of this and I want to redo this one. So we'll see how it turns out from now to then. I'll do a comparison. And then this was another one that I did just in greys and blues for a challenge that was posted. Then this was just a compass. I did a lot of gold gel pen in this picture and this was very quick one evening when I was watching a film. That again was a very long time ago. This was my second attempt at skin and I absolutely am really not happy with either of them, but this was 2.5 years ago, so you know I have to give myself some credit. I'm not going to know what I'm doing, so I enjoyed them anyway. That's the main thing. Then I did the Raven Queen, I'm going to call her. She just reminds me of a Raven Queen. She was based on actually Hannah Carlson's daughter, I think I read that she'd said. Again, I just wanted something a bit colourful and psychedelic and I wanted like a majestic raven. Then I did this one, ages ago, and I've glossed her iridescent wings with a jelly roll glaze in clear so that it shines. So for any wings now, I put a glossy accent on top so that it shines and would be like wings. And again, I loved this at the time, but I would do her skin so differently now. Then this was just me testing out mushrooms because I love doing mushrooms and I wanted to do them quite fungus looking and quite traditional to colours that you would find out in the woods. So I had a little tester of that on this page, which I enjoyed. And then this was last year I did this one, and this was one of my favourites I've ever done. I completely learned how to do skin on her through a Chris Cheng colouring tutorial, and then the rest was completely freestyled by myself, but she helped me out in the biggest way, and I can only thank her video for doing that because she taught me how to look at skin so differently. And now I've got my own take on it and I do my own thing on it now, and if I hadn't done this tutorial I would never have been able to do what I can sort of sit there and picture now, and I'm really happy with how this turned out. And then I have done, sorry, you have to bear with me, I don't know if there's any others. Oh, then I did these again, this is about 2.5 years ago. This is just some fish. And then I did this double page. Again, her skin isn't great, but never mind, we won't look at that. But I really enjoyed like doing those crystals with the bee, and I enjoyed this one, so there you go. And that was that from there. Then we move on to the most amazing book, Serene by Nicholas Filbert. I've only done one from this and I plan to do many more because it is the most amazing book. And this is my completed page from this. This is, I think, Orbit. Is it Orbit? Yeah, Orbit. And I enjoyed doing this. I did her hair in little, like, sort of strands, so it looked like hair. I just really enjoyed this so much. I loved every minute of this. It took me a while, as usual. I just wanted to do like subtle peachy, pinky colours and make her quite feminine, and I enjoyed this one. Then we go on to one of my earliest stuff. This is going back a while now. So I have, I'm not going to go from that because that was testing out stuff and I didn't end up, had an absolute disaster, so I left that. I've got a second copy though. This is one of my earliest things. I did the whale. This is like one of my first books that I ever bought. This was the underwater, I think I did this, it must be 2.5 years ago. It was it's my second colouring book that I'd bought, and I loved it. And I did this with the cheapest Faber-Castell pencils, the student ones that you can get, and I had no other medium whatsoever. I just had that, and that is all I used. Then I did this in a monotone grayscale, black and white. Just wanted something like, I just love black and white. It's my favourite thing to do, so I just wanted to do that. And I loved this, and I greyed the page a little bit with some pastels, and I just did 4 shades of grey, 1 black, and that's it, white. And oh, then I did the starfish. Again, this is a very long time ago. All of these from here are looking back about 2.5 years now. And and this one was, I wanted like a mosaic. Again, this is 2.5 years ago, or 2 years ago. It wasn't last Christmas, Christmas before. I was in a hell of a lot of pain that year. I just gone through the most unfortunate time with my back at that point, and I was on the floor one evening and I just lost myself in this, and a lot of pain went into this picture, but it also helped heal. So for that reason, I would never ever ever get rid of this book, because this book helped me through such a dark time with pain that I'll always be grateful for it. Again, I mucked this up, so this is why I bought a second copy. I just wanted to start this one, but I've not finished. And I think that was it from there. Yep. And then I have Sagolicked by Emily Lydell Oberg. Oh, 1 second. We got a Coleridge Wild Girl, which I did with watercolours, and loved doing this one. I forgot I'd put this in here, so that was another one. Sorry, that sidetracked me there. So yeah, as I said, I'm back to Sagolicked by Emily Lydell Oberg. This is one of my favourite books ever. Love this book so much. So I did this because this is the colour of my 2 budgies, and if you followed me for a while, you'll know that my 2 budgies are these exact colours. So you have Rio, who's these tropical yellow, turquoise colours, and white and grey bits. And then Tilly is light blue, medium blue, and white. So I based that on them. I couldn't not. And then this was recently. This was one that I loved doing. Again, I took my time on it. I loved doing the roses. I did it with a mixture of Tombow and polychromos. I did other pencil medium on it as well. I think I did Prismacolors, white pen. I just, you know, mixture again. And this is my way forward now, is just mix my pencils. Just mix. I love to mix because you get such a good result when you mix everything now. This was, I based this on me and Andrew. Andrew does not have a beard, guys, at all. And they're, you know, that guy looks about 40 and Andrew's not there yet. So, but I based it on me and Andrew because we're both blonde. And it captured just how I feel about my partner. And yeah, I based that on me and him. So that was me and Andrew. My interpretation, I just used it as like a base. And I think that's all I've done out of Saga Look. Let me just double check. Oh no, sorry, one more. See, this is why I have to check. And this was 5 colours only. I did 5 colours on this. It was a 5 colour pencil challenge. And I used 5 pencils. I mixed them as well so that they made a different shade. And I loved doing it. It was like a fairy tale castle with botanicals, and I really enjoyed doing that. I started this again, I will go back to it, this one. But I mucked my strawberry up and I lost momentum for it then. So I was like, oh no, I don't like that. So yeah, that was the story of that one. Then I did this piece for Millie Marotta personally, and I got it sent back. And this was for the press release of her book that she had. I think it was Beautiful Creatures, or I will have to look which one it was. But I did this. It's on an A3 sheet. A3? Is it A3 or A5? A5. No, A3. See, this is where my brain just goes completely on me, and I just wonder what's wrong with my mind sometimes. But I did this for Millie Marotta, and she used it for her press release on her Poison Dart Frogs, and I really did enjoy this one. Then I've got Tide Valve. We're near the end, guys, because I can't find all of my stuff. This is just what I grabbed to hand. This is Tide Valve, and I've only done one in here for Halloween, which was the witch. So that's my witch for Halloween that I really like doing with the black cat. The black cat's a very scruffy black cat. And I used different pencil brands, and I used just a very light stencil to make it's like a spider web, I suppose, but I enjoyed that one anyway. So that was different mediums. I don't know if you guys have got this, but I love these ones. These are done with felt tips. They're the Disney Colour by Numbers, so you get the image inside all these, and they give you like a guide of which colours. And I loved doing this. I want to do more, so I did the Tinkerbell one, and I loved doing it. And I thought, oh my goodness, I have to get myself some felt tips, which I've still not got. So I need to get some felt tips in many different colours and get on with it, because I loved it. So I've only done Tinkerbell, and I've done the genie, I think. Yeah. So I did the genie as well, and I loved it. I want to do more of them. They're so easy to do. They're so mindless as well. You just colour in the, you know, the number or the letters, numbers and letters. So at the bottom you've got your guide. You match your pencils as much close as you can get. If you can't, just go with whatever you want to do. And they are just so much fun. Then one of my very old ones, I love these though, by Sarah Walsh. She's the Just Add colour range. She's got Circus, she's got Carnival, and she's got another one. Really bad with my memory at the moment. And I just wanted to do a page of just pure colour. So clowns, colourful, rainbow clowns. Yep, that was the result. This was like 2.5 years ago now. Again, I'd probably do things so differently, but I enjoyed doing it. And then about 2 years ago, from Linda Ravenscroft, Painting and Colouring Book number 2, I did the a little fawn, and I just did pencils and pastels, and I dragged the pastels down so that it made it distressed, and that was that one. And then like silly things I've done is like the little Sherry Baldy images, which again, Rio, Tilly and me. It's not really, but you know what I mean. I was basing it because I've always got the two birds on me at somewhere and they're always jumping all over me, so I really liked this one, so I had to colour it. So, and that's it guys, that's my completed work in progress? No, it's my completed pictures, and I've also got my work in progresses, which I am not even going to bother putting on because there's too many. So thank you for watching. I hope that you had some enjoyment. I'm sorry it was so long. It was 25 minutes long, I did not realise. Okay, so I'll see you on my next video everyone. Have an absolutely amazing weekend. Bye!